This is now the third part, the tips for the caregivers. Okay? Now, the first tip is the patient with dementia. Please appreciate this is not her fault or his fault. This is an illness. This is a disconnection within the brain. Don't be judgmental. It's not about laziness. It's not about no motivation to do things. They can't. It's an illness. It's a brain disease, right? So appreciate as much as you can about the illness. That's why I'm glad you are here. You want to learn as much as you can about dementia. Acceptance is always difficult. It's easier to appreciate, but very hard to accept. Acceptance is not easy, and therefore many people are stuck when it comes to acceptance. Easier said than done. I told you about John 9:3. Easier said than done. Many people in that state say, wow, I'm the sufferer. You tell me to have faith, very hard to have faith. So many of us bargain with God, especially when we are in trouble. There you are. This is a very important slide. We react to loss by going through stages. The first stage is shock, denial, and even numb and disbelief. How can it happen? 76 years old, surgeon, brilliant doctor. How can it happen? Psychiatrist, brilliant psychiatrist, bubbly chap, optimistic. Then you tell me now he's demented. I don't believe. So stage 1 is shock, disbelief. Then stage 2, a lot of negative emotions happen. You feel sad, you worry, what's going to happen? Everything you do now is minus 1%. You used to go on holiday together and enjoy meal together, laugh together, joke together, do things together. Now, you try to involve the person doing things with you. The person is not interested. Remember, the person is in a glass cage, cannot connect with you. And then you're sad, disappointed. And you feel guilty. Have I done anything wrong? Did I neglect the person? What's the issue? Then anger as well. Sometimes the anger is towards yourself, for not being caring enough, for not being compassionate enough. And sometimes the anger is towards the system, the hospital, the doctors, other people. And life can be chaotic and messy. Stage 3, no longer the same. Before you reach stage 4, and stage 4 is acceptance. And it must be radical acceptance. You don't just lip service, I accept. But actually inside you're still struggling. Radical acceptance means total acceptance. My loved one has dementia. Dementia is a brain disease. Disconnection between the cerebral and the limbic. I want to help my loved one. That is commitment, a lot of commitment. Not easy. You saw just now Maidin, 48 years old. The wife divorced him because he was so hot-tempered. Because the wife didn't know it was a tumor. And when finally found out it was a tumor, the wife came back to him. So sometimes it's important to understand the reaction to loss. Before you appreciate, you accept, then you can adapt. If you are stuck at acceptance, very hard to adapt. Adapt means do whatever you have to do as a caregiver with lots of compassion and love and care. But if you are stuck at acceptance, you can't accept. Very hard to show genuine love and compassion and care. You'll be struggling every day, conflicted. Your telomeres will go shorter because you're conflicted every day, every time you look at your loved one. Okay, this is the holistic approach I spoke about: physical, mental, social, and spiritual. Engage as much as possible all 4 legs of the chair. When you have a patient who has got problem, social is very important because the need to socialize. When you socialize, you are connecting your limbic and your prefrontal cortex. And continue spiritual growth. Spiritual growth. How many of you read 1 year Bible online? Raise your hand. A handful. Go home, Google 1yearbibleonline.com. Every day, 20 minutes only. They will read a passage from the Old Testament, a passage from the New Testament, a bit from Psalm, a bit from Proverb. So in 20 minutes, you covered 4 parts of the Bible. And then there is a commentary. They will give you a commentary on what the day, the main story about the day, what are the main topics or themes of that day. Very enriching. It's only 20 minutes. So if your loved one has early dementia, on the 1 Year Bible online, let her listen for 20 minutes only. And then we're trying to engage their limbic and cerebral as much as possible. Okay? Now, second tip is for you. You as a caregiver. Same, you need to appreciate yourself. You need to accept and you need to adapt. Self-care is very important. Please look after yourself. And back to the 3 points. Sleep well, eat well, and breathe. Exercise. The brainstem. And then the role you play. That's the third tip. The role you play. All of us play multiple roles. Now you're sitting in front of me listening to my talk. Right? At home, you are parents, you are children. You give them talks. You give them talks, right? So we have different roles. In church, some of you are Bible study coordinator, leader, church Bible study leader. Some of you are even a lay preacher in your church. So we have different roles we play. But appreciate your role, accept and adapt to your role. Then you can have what we call a holistic approach. Beware of compassion fatigue. Caregivers burnout. So caregivers, if you know other caregivers, it's good to touch base, share points with one another, and learn from one another. Fatigue, don't keep on giving. But who is giving you? Who is looking after you? So this is called compassion fatigue. Okay? There are lots of reliable websites. I like this one, AIC. This is Agency for Integrated Care. ABC of caregiving. And this is even more specific, Dementia Singapore. Previously, it was Alzheimer's Association of Singapore. They changed to Dementia Singapore. And again, they have very good websites, very good knowledge about dementia. Okay? So, now let's watch this video clip. The gentleman is the CEO of Dementia Singapore.
My father was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Supporting him was first thing I would do, but having done that over a period of time, I realized that it can get really taxing and sometimes exhausting, because it's not just caring for him, but also having work to do. So having been a part of DSG, they have been really very supportive, yeah. In attending these caregiver programs, right, I think the common theme is that I'm not alone. There are other people out there as well. Some of the activities, I would say, very therapeutic.
In my last 30 years with Dementia Singapore, I've learned that dementia is not just being forgetful. Actually, people with dementia are just like you and me. They look normal. That's why it's very often referred to as an invisible disability. Society definitely needs to be more inclusive of people with dementia and their caregivers. They are in the community and we need to support and care for them. In the neighborhood, we run dementia daycare centers. We have a whole range of activities to stimulate and engage the person with dementia. Art and craft, music, we have reminiscence therapy, we have occupational therapy, we have physiotherapy. Training is important for the caregivers because they are thrown into this journey. We in our academy work with stakeholders to design training courses that provide dementia-specific skills and strategies to support persons with dementia and also their caregivers. So Dementia Singapore is very keen to promote a dementia-inclusive society. So are you a member of CARA yet?
Yeah, I signed up already. And you know what? It's a useful app and I've already used some of the benefits.
The CARA program is actually the first dementia membership program in Singapore, and we hope to be able to reach out to more people with dementia and their families through CARA. For our Dementia Hub, it's actually a one-stop knowledge portal that provides information for people with dementia, their caregivers, and whoever who wants to find out information about dementia. In Singapore today, there are actually about 100,000 people living with dementia, and the numbers are rising very quickly. These people and their caregivers really need support and care, and we should never forget the caregivers as well. Without any support, they will burn out in their caregiving journey. Dementia Singapore will always try to provide quality and innovative care for people with dementia. We want to fight the stigma of dementia. We want to increase the awareness of dementia. And our vision is to make Singapore a truly dementia-inclusive society.
I like the vision to make Singapore a dementia-inclusive society. It means we embrace people with dementia rather than exclude them, ostracize them.
My father was diagnosed.
Okay, who is Margaret Ong? Margaret Ong is a staunch believer. Her husband, Leslie, developed schizophrenia. And Margaret spent time caring for her husband, and it was a very painful journey for her. She decided to write a book, One Husband but Two Men. What is the relationship between schizophrenia and dementia? Chronic, severe schizophrenia is like living in a glass cage. It's like severe dementia. You look at them, they look at you, but they can't connect with you. And Leslie is in that state. After years of treatment, there is no improvement, and because the brain is also affected, the brain is also not functioning as per normal, and therefore cannot connect. The cerebral and the limbic not connected. So it's as good as a demented patient. The term schizophrenia was coined in 1911 by Eugen Bleuler, a psychiatrist. Before 1911, guess what was the name for schizophrenia? Dementia precox, precocious development of dementia. A young man with schizophrenia at 24 years old is as good as a demented patient of 74. No? So the old term for schizophrenia is dementia precox, precocious development of dementia in a young man who's supposed not to have dementia. It was only in 1911 they coined the term schizophrenia. So again, schizophrenia is a brain problem, and it can give rise to a picture of dementia, not able to connect with the people around them. Margaret's journey as a caregiver is worth reading. The struggle within her. Yesterday I saw an Indonesian patient diagnosed to have stage 2 breast cancer, and she told me, Dr. Ang, I'm closer to God now. Yeah. So although it's a crisis, I'm closer to God now. So crisis, the term crisis means danger, 危机，危险里面有一个机会。Within the danger, there is an opportunity. You can see it negatively as a danger, or you can see it positively as an opportunity. So every patient, every demented patient is also an opportunity for us to show our love, our concern, our ability to bring out our best, and also bring out the best of the patient. I'm going to end with Stephen Covey. What legacy do we want to leave behind? Stephen Covey passed away at the age of 85 a few years ago. He wrote this book. This book is $1 million bestseller. How many of you have read the book? Raise your hand. Okay, quite a handful. There are 3 points I want to say about this book. The first point is that the second habit is begin with the end in mind. That means at the end of your life, what you want people to remember you for. So at the end of your life, then it's very morbid. He said at your funeral, when people come to your wake, what would people say about you? Ang Yong Guan, that stingy fella. Ang Yong Guan, so unhelpful, so unfriendly, always in a world of his own. Right? This is what people would say about you at the end of your journey. Or people say nice things about you. What positive legacy you want to leave behind. The second thing about this book is private victory precedes public victory. We must conquer ourselves first before we can conquer the world. That's why we talk about inner self. We talk about growth, the 4 legs of a chair. So private victory precedes public victory. A lot of us, wow, we chiong, we display a lot of confidence, outward confidence. But inside we feel insecure. Inside we have low self-esteem. As a psychiatrist, I make a distinction between confidence and esteem. Confidence is what you do to show to the world. You can be very confident in singing, dancing, giving a talk, but inside you could have low self-esteem, very insecure, very immature. That's the difference between esteem and confidence. So the higher your esteem, the more secure you are. And naturally, you'll be more confident. But the reverse is not true. You can be very confident, but with very low self-esteem. A lot of people don't make the distinction. They see confidence and esteem as synonymous. I make a slight distinction between the two. What is the third point about this book? The 7th habit is sharpening your saw. Sharpening your saw. In 4 aspects: social, physical, mental, and spiritual. Remember I told you Luke 2:52. So Stephen Covey also invoked the Bible when he talked about the 7th habit. Sharpening your saw to grow socially, physically, mentally, and spiritually. Remember, Jesus grew in stature and wisdom, in favor with God and man. So this is a reminder of what kind of legacy you want to leave behind. So you are helping someone who is demented. You want to do your best, right? And if you yourself are demented, then you expect people to help you as well. Lastly, Paul told Timothy, I have fought the good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. King James version is, I have fought the course. Other version is, I have finished the race. I have finished my race. They use race to replace course. It doesn't matter. What is important is that our life in this world is limited. We have a lifespan. And let's do our best to help those who need our help, our family members with dementia. All right? And that is what 2 Timothy 4:7 is all about. Finishing the course. Okay, conclusion. There are 3 parts to the talk. The first part is about the brain. The second part is about normal aging and the difference between normal aging and dementia. And then the last part is straightforward, tips for the caregivers. So I will stop here. So thank you very much for your kind attention.